Hey guys, Damien here, founder of Mobilize Health and Fitness. If you didn't already know who I am, that's who I am. I help people like yourself gain everlasting, sustainable weight loss through intermittent fasting. If you're wondering why the hell I have that written on that slide there. So this was a course I made last year, but I'm just going to go back through it, review it, so you guys can watch it again. Or for those of you who are new, this is really beneficial, especially if you're a beginner and you're trying to work out how you should start. Cool. If you're wondering where I am, because it looks dark and dodgy and all that sort of shit, it is a Saturday night, and I couldn't be bothered doing this at the office because I've been there all week. And sometimes you just get sick of the gym. As much as you love it, you hate it. You love it, you hate it. So we'll move on to the next slide. It's about the looks. This is the overview of the course. Remember, I made this some time ago, but I know it's still valid. I obviously went over what IF is and how it burns fat, how to select a suitable window, so that's really important. There are many methods, obviously. There's the warrior diet, for instance, where you have a 20-hour fasted window and a 4-hour eating window. Yeah, you're probably thinking, right, that makes you hungry just hearing that. But generally, I would recommend going with the 16-8 window, or some other little tips if that's too hard as well, that I'll cover on some of the other slides. And of course, the big question everyone always asks, how many motherfucking calories should I be eating when fasting? I'm not a big calorie counter myself, but it does have its place, and we'll go over that in another slide as well. So moving on. So what the hell is intermittent fasting? It's basically an eating pattern. So you're going to have two windows. A fasted window, this is where you're not going to consume anything, and an eating window. This is where you will consume food and drink. Obviously, what else would you consume? Um, there are many methods, like I've already said. We'll be predominantly probably looking at the 16-8 method, where you'll have an eating window of 8 hours and a non-eating window or fasted window of 16 hours. I do find this the easiest method to adapt to, and you can change it up later on. But again, we'll look at some of the other methods you can use to break into fasting when you first start, because sometimes even the 8-hour window can be challenging, especially if you haven't done it before. So a lot of people say it's not a diet. I mean, you can look at it however you want. I look at it as a way of eating, as I would if I'm following keto, Atkins, if I was a vegan. Obviously, I try to eliminate the word diet, because that's pretty much something I would do if I was cutting weight for my sport or something, like on a crash diet to make weight. So I invite you to try to eliminate that word out of your vocabulary. Otherwise, it gets hard. I believe it's hard if you're thinking of everything as a diet. It also gives the impression that it's only short term, and if you want everlasting weight loss, you really want to be healthy all of the time. Yeah, or at least 70-30, guys. Come on. All right, next slide. So, how exactly is this starving business going to help you burn some fat? So we're getting to one of my favorite parts of the equation now, which is hormones. So your ability to lose weight heavily relies on what some of your hormones are doing. We're only going to cover 3 today, just because I think at the start, knowing these 3 gives you a real good basis to not only go research it yourself, but an understanding of what the fuck's actually happening when you're doing this, especially if you're still someone who believes in myths like you must eat breakfast and you should never let yourself be hungry, and you're still under the impression that fasting means you're starving, and that's not good for you because it puts you in a starvation rate, or whatever the fuck they call that shit. That shit's just not true. But we'll go over these hormones, and I can explain why later on. So basically, we got 3 of them. We got insulin, human growth hormone, and glucagon. So insulin is the main storage hormone, okay? So if you're working out heaps and you feel like your diet is clean but you're still not losing weight, it's probably something to do with this guy. Whether that be insulin resistant, if you're type 2 diabetic, it'll especially probably insulin holding you back. And here's why. So every time you eat, yum 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 yum, and say this is your stomach. Stomachs aren't round, guys, okay? I do know my anatomy. This is just a quick drawing. This is your stomach, cool. And we got some bloodstream going on over here. So basically the food's gonna get munched up in here and turned into, let's say, glucose. It's gonna get absorbed through these walls into your bloodstream. Cool. So now we've got all these little glucose, all these little sugars in your bloodstream. What that's going to do is it's going to spike your blood sugar, right? So far this is all normal. This is what happens. Cool. So what happens now is the body releases insulin into the bloodstream. My drawing still looks the same as it did when I was 5. Awesome. You guys should see my writing. It's real shit. I get constant shit for that at all the time at work. One of my best friends, if she ever watches this, she'll know I'm talking about her. Anyway, so our little purple insulin's there. Insulin is not purple either. This is just the colors they have on PowerPoint. Goes up to these little yellow glucoses here and pushes them into cells. This is also not to scale, guys, but this is a cell. Yeah. And then what happens there is the little sugars go in there, and thanks to the insulin, and the cell is going to use him and break him down for energy. Yeah, that's energy. So they might say that's a muscle cell. That's going to give the muscle cell energy to contract or what have you. Cool. Or it'll store a little bit of it in there as well for later on. But here's what happens. So if I've eaten, say I'm overeating, I'm constantly eating like shit, or I'm spiking my blood sugars constantly throughout the day because I believe in their bullshit that you should eat like 6 to 10 small meals. It's like you're eating every hour or some shit, even when I'm not hungry. These sugar levels are going to get higher, right? And the cells can only hold or use so much. Once they tell insulin, look, I don't want any more, or insulin can't push it in there, it's going to take it over to the liver. Yeah, the liver. Cool. So bloodstream goes past the liver. Insulin's going to take all these little glucoses to the liver. Yeah, have these little glucoses because we got to get the blood sugar down. We don't know what to do with them. The liver's then going to turn it into glycogen. Say this is my fridge for glycogen. He's going to turn it into something called glycogen, and he's going to store it all in this fridge. Now the thing is, once this fridge is full and he can't store any more in there, that's when it's going to get turned to fat, guys. And fat, your body can hold unlimited amounts of fat. So it's going to go to all these blood streams and it'll get stored as fat. And yeah, I don't know what the noises are, but yeah. So it's gonna get turned to fat in these fat cells, okay? So this is the stuff that you're wanting to burn. Obviously you want to burn all this stuff, but here's the thing: if you keep eating and spiking your insulin levels, you will be in a state of storage, okay? So there's no you're either storing or you're burning, okay? And if you have insulin in the bloodstream, you are storing. So every time you eat, that blood sugar rises. Insulin's going to come from the stomach. Blood sugars will go. Glucose, sugar will go into the bloodstream, causing blood sugars to go high. Insulin comes out. He pushes them to the cells. When the cells don't want any more, he takes it to the liver. The liver stores as glycogen. When it can't store any more of that, it gets turned to fat. So if you're constantly eating, you're never going to get the chance to burn it, okay? So now we're going to look at the other two hormones. I might be running out of colors here. But again, HGH does a lot of things, and it can be released into the bloodstream for a whole host of reasons, but we're just focusing on the weight loss for it. So when we're not eating, our blood sugar is going to go down, and we're going to lose all these little yellow ones floating around. Poof, poof, poof. And then the cells are going to start running out of energy, but there's not going to be any sugar in the bloodstream for them to take. So the word's going to go out. We need more energy. We need more sugar in the bloodstream. So the liver is going to be like, he's going to have to go to the glycogen stores and shove that shit into the bloodstream so our body can use it. So HGH and glucagon, these ones here, are going to be released, and they're going to be in the bloodstream. And they're the ones that are going to go up to the liver. There he is. And they're going to be like, hey, we need more. And he's going to be like, okay, so he's going to start depleting those glycogen stores, or the fridge, turning that shit back into glucose and putting it into the bloodstream so that our cells can have huge little sugars again. Yeah, so they can start making energy. When that's empty, that is when those two hormones are going to go up to fat cells like this one, and they're going to tell him to start breaking down that stored fat, put it in the bloodstream because we need it for energy. And then this is how you'll actually be burning fat for energy. Cool, so you won't be burning glucose anymore, and that's to keep the blood levels stable. So here's the thing: if your blood sugar is high, then you're going to have insulin. If your blood sugar is low, you're going to have the other two, and it's the other two you need to burn fat. So this is how fasting works. When you're not eating, the blood sugar is going to drop, and it's those two hormones that are going to help you burn those glycogen stores and then burn that fat. When you do eat, which you eventually are going to have to, don't get me wrong, you need all those vitamins and minerals and all that sort of shit, you're going to get insulin. That's cool, it's normal, but you're only going to be getting that during your eating window. So this is why fasting is a lot better than your low-calorie diets as well, because low-calorie diets just don't have the same hormone cycles, and they don't promote the same hormone adaptations as intermittent fasting will. Other thing too is if you get insulin resistance, so that can be type 2 diabetes, right? I don't know why I was just trying to write everything. Look, I didn't even spell it right. So diseases such as type 2 diabetes, you're insulin resistant, means that when the blood sugar goes high, insulin doesn't work as well. So you're going to need twice as much insulin in your bloodstream as you normally would to bring the blood sugar down. With all that extra insulin, you're going to be in like double storage mode, because all that insulin is just going to be like store. You'll quickly fill up your glycogen stores, and then of course it's going to have to go get turned to fat. The best way to bring insulin resistance down is fasting, because your blood sugar goes low, and then these two hormones can come out and do their thing to break down fat. And it'll help you get something called insulin sensitivity, which means you don't need as much insulin to do the same job. I'm just looking at my drawing like, what the fuck? I ruined the shit out of that slide. But drawings aside, I hope that helped a little bit and helps you understand why these hormones are so important and why fasting can actually help you get to the stored fat over here. We'll move on to the next slide before I start drawing heaps of other shit. So we have a little overview of insulin here. It is released into the blood when blood sugar is high. It's cool. So this is why it's good to eat low GI foods. GI refers to the glycemic index, which will show you the rate in which foods spike blood sugar. So anything that's high on the GI scale is going to spike blood sugar a lot higher than some of the other foods. So you want low GI food to stop this, because that's going to stop the production of insulin, which is going to, well, it's not going to produce as much insulin, should I say, which means you're not going to be in a state of storage as much. Cool, it's going to push glucose into sugar. It's going to push glucose into cells for energy. Sorry. been a long fucking week, man. And then it's gonna stimulate the liver to store anything excess. And if we have a lot of insulin in the bloodstream because we've eaten ourselves into a state of insulin resistance, then it's going to be very, 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 very fucking hard to burn any kind of fat. And then all that gym work, it's kind of going down the shitter and doing nothing. Cool. Ah, can't see that there. I didn't even see that. Constant grazing, overeating, and the consumption of sugary foods causes insulin resistance and can lead to type 2 diabetes. There you go. How fucking informative. Next slide. And sorry, fucking cat's moaning. I think he's hungry. No, fast, 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 you fat fucker. No, he's quite big. He's quite big. I'd show you him, but I don't. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying to show you on the computer. Maybe in another video, I'll make a video on how cats can lose weight whilst fasting. Anyway, so we got HGH and glucagon. So in relation to weight loss, these are going to be released into the bloodstream when blood sugar is low. So this is what's going to happen when you're not eating, right? So in your fasting period. They do stimulate the liver and the fat cells to break down stored fat and glycogen. So you're going to have to burn through the glycogen first, and then your body will switch to burning fat, okay? This is why the longer fasts are a little better, because you're going to burn through that glycogen and you get through that fat. But at the beginning, anything is going to help you get some results, okay? They are suppressed, especially HGH, by the presence of insulin. So if I'm going to eat constantly, especially high GI foods like chippies, ice cream, although it is very, very, very tasty, and any other high sugary shitty treat you can name, you're not really going to get HGH and glucagon. So you're going to be in a state of storage. You don't want that for weight loss, and you definitely don't want that for health. Cool. And what's it say in red? Human growth hormone can also be stimulated by exercise and helps to build lean muscle. So this is true. HGH is spiked in resistance training especially, or HIIT as well. Pretty much the only two I use with clients who are trying to lose weight. And it's also, funny enough, stimulated while you're asleep. Cool. It's for repair. So if you can add a bit of fasting, a bit of low blood sugar, you're going to get some HGH. Add a little bit of the proper exercise, you're going to get even more HGH. And then if you have a good quality sleep, which that's another video in itself if I'm being honest, some more HGH, and it's going to repair all your lean muscle, and it's going to burn heaps of fat, and then you're going to turn into a lean, mean Instagram posting machine in no time, being a ball bag, being the envy of all your old schoolmates, and then you can be that person like everyone talks about, like, that chick, she's always posting all these photos on Instagram of blah la la la. Yeah, you guys still fucking follow her, right? Alright, next slide. Cool, so there's a little conclusion. I've already said this probably like 100 times. You're either burning fat or you're storing it. There is no middle ground. So, start fasting, man. Get your hormones in check. Cool, so the first thing you're going to need to do, if you want to fast and you want to lose some serious weight whilst doing it, is select your eating window. Now, like I said, I believe that the lean gains or the 16-8 method is the easiest one for beginners to have a crack at. But there's a few things you must take into account, okay? First of all, the window must suit your lifestyle, okay? There's no point putting an eating window revolving around a time where you're not going to get to eat, is there? No, silly. Now, I know it sounds silly to have to bring up, but people do it, okay? So it must suit your lifestyle first and foremost. Most I find it easier to skip breakfast and start their window between the hours of 10 and 1. Meaning if I was to start at 10 a.m., then I would stop eating 8 hours later, and so on. Most people like to kind of judge it so that they can still have dinner at the normal time they usually do. Although I will warn you that the later you eat, the more chance you're going to have of spiking more insulin. So some studies show that if you're eating later into the night, like 8 p.m., sort of an eater, then you are going to spike twice as much insulin eating the exact same thing as you would if you ate it, say, before 3. So just bear that in mind. You don't want your window to go too late. You don't really want to be eating at night. It also fucks with your quality of sleep, which is very, very important when it comes to weight loss, again, because of hormones and what they get up to at nighttime, but that's another video. So if you do have a crack at that and it's still hard, there are other methods you can do it. So the first good one is either choose lunch or breakfast and eliminate one of them. That works really well. Or the other one that I really, really like for your standard beginner is to simply start by pushing breakfast back 30 to 60 minutes every day. So if you were to eat breakfast at 7, you would simply eat it at 7:30, and then once you get used to that, you would start eating breakfast at 8, and so on. Now, some people will find that, but they really just want to get into it and start losing weight quickly. Guys, remember, you've got your entire life to be healthy. You need to get it right at the start so you don't give up like you have with every other diet by taking off more than you can chew at the start. I was definitely guilty of this, and it led me to being overweight a lot longer than I needed to be, and I really don't want that for you guys. So make sure you get the start right, and the results will come. Be patient. Be patient, my friend. How many calories should you be eating? For me, I'm not a big calorie counter. You just get used to when you should eat and when you shouldn't. I would more be focused on the macros and be looking at your mineral and vitamin intake, okay? Because they can severely fuck up your day if you don't have enough B1, for instance. You can have shitty moods or lack of energy. Potassium is a big one most people are usually short on. So I've been more inclined to make sure I'm getting enough potassium and B vitamins, vitamin D, gets fucking sunlight, rather than I would be on how many calories I should eat. But if I was you and you are going to count calories, one, I wouldn't go below 1200. Now, if you're working out as well, come on, guys, man, give yourself a break. You're going to need at least 1500, at least. And I'm being modest there. Like, I prefer people to go 2000, especially when you're on the weight loss grind and you're working out constantly. You're going to need that shit, guys. So don't skim out on your calories if you're counting them. Good macro guideline at the start. I mean, obviously, the more fat when fasting, the better. Fat doesn't spike insulin as much, and if you're trying to change your body to wanting to burn fat as a fuel source, you're obviously gonna have to eat it. So a basic beginner macro guide there, 50% fats, 30% protein, and 20% carbohydrates is a good start. But I wouldn't stay on that. I would slowly be bringing down that protein and carbohydrates, because protein also spikes insulin, and you don't want heaps of that shit. So that's just a beginner's guide. That's pretty much just to get you over the fact of thinking fat's unhealthy, and that you shouldn't be eating it all the time. It's very hard to go straight to 70% fat, 60%, what have you, when you're still under the impression it's going to give you a heart attack. Heart attack. Cool, so obviously, the course, each lesson had tasks at the end for participants to do. Your first task, obviously being a beginner, is going to be select your ideal fasting window. So, guidelines for that. Make sure it fits your life. I would suggest putting your sleep in your fasted window. That might seem obvious, but I have seen people try and tack their eating window onto their sleep. Don't do that, guys. Come on. It's silly. Sleep goes in the fasting window always. I mean your nighttime sleep, not your naps and shit. If you're someone who likes to nap heaps, cool. So you're gonna select your ideal fasting window. Now you must watch all this, guys. I definitely struggle with that at the start. A lot of my clients do as well. This can be alienating depending on when you choose your window. Meaning that it can be hard if you choose a window, for example, where you're meant to stop eating at 4, but your family and everyone you live with eats at 5 or 6. You're going to feel it's going to be socially uncomfortable. So be ready for that. Add that into the mix too. If you want to eat food with your family at night at 6 o'clock at night, then maybe your eating window ending at 5 isn't such a good idea. Just take things like that into account, okay? I'd also not include the weekends, just as you start. Just Monday to Friday, man. Get it locked down. Get it locked down. And then, of course, if you're going to use the calories, there was that online calculator in whatever the fuck number that last slide was. You can use that if you do want to calculate calories. And then the last thing is, of course, to take action. It isn't going to work if you don't do it, if you don't try it, you know? You might fuck up at the start. It's okay. Learn from it and take action again. Keep going and going and going. Learn more. Keep reading my emails. Keep watching my videos, you know? Maybe you subscribe to my channel so that I can make money off of advertising. Nah, but for real, keep going. Obviously this is a crash course, and choosing your window is the first step. But there's much more as well. Obviously sleep is one thing, what exercise you should do, but just take some sort of action. Action. And of course, as every good marketer does, they have what's coming next so that people open their emails and watch the videos. Like I said, this is a course from last year, so I will try and dig out lesson 2 and put it up for you guys and send it out through email as well. But looking at what was on lesson 2, what you can eat in your... Yeah, I mean, I've got videos and emails on this shit coming out anyway, so it's not like you guys have missed out on anything. Yeah, just keep looking out in your emails. I'll definitely be covering this shit and later on, anywho. So I hope this helps. This probably was a bit of a long video, but it is worth the watch. Yeah, just get it done. Take some action. Once you got that window sorted, start digging through my other videos and shit to figure out what to do next. Alright, thank you. Good luck. I look forward to hearing of your grand, glorious success. Fucking cat still moaning.